Yeah, hello. Today I'm looking at the brand new update from Brainworx for the BX Master Desk Pro. So if you're familiar with the Master Desk, let's stop this for a second. The Master Desk is like a one and all plugin for mastering, shaping your final mix. And it's a nice little plugin, actually. It gives you a little walkthrough numbered 1, 2, 3, what to do to improve your mixes before sending them out. If you don't want to go to mastering, or you wanna do it yourself, or you just wanna improve your track a little bit before you send it to clients. So definitely a nice plugin to have. And if you're familiar with the original look, so let me mute the other ones. So this is the smallest one. This is the regular BX Master Desk. Very simple. You pull up your track. This is, by the way, Wavelab 11. And that's where I use for mastering. And usually on this side, you have a chain, EQ, compressor, all those kind of things you want to put in there to make your final mix sound better and get up to levels for streaming or CD or vinyl release. I just put it in here so you can see better what's happening. So on the original Master Desk, you get your track going. You load up your track. There are a couple presets, as you can see, there are plenty of them. Mix bus, start here. You can even have it just on a mix bus. Ballad, Turbo, Madness, Loud, Enhanced, 6 dB. You can try all of those. So right now I have a mix bus starting point. You pull up your final track. This is for my Electro Swing album. And pretty much what you do is you play the track and then you dial in the volume. So you set a volume that your dynamic range is in the green. So there's some activity on the compressor. You can decide if you want a certain type of compressor. The manual will tell you all about it. Just listen and see what you like. You can auto solo some of those resonances. This is in the 315. This is 160. Maybe you want to address that one, or also on the high side, 6K range, 3K range, right? This one sounds kind of weird. So let's use that one. If you want to push bass or mids or treble or presence, you can do here. It's very subtle. Again, we are mastering. You're not changing your mix. You just do quite subtle improvements. A little more bass, right? Things like that. You can also do it on a global side with this big button. See, the bass side is pushed. Bass side is pulled back. That's the center. So you can see what you want to do here. You can add some harmonic distortion with the THD. Set the output trim. I use -1. It's best for streaming in case there are conversions. So nothing happens when you convert, so leave it at -1. If you want to make the bass mono, look over here at the phase scope. You can make the low end a little more mono, right? All the way up to 300. Maybe just stay in the 100. You can also enhance the stereo, a little more crazy, or you can take it down. Now we are almost mono, right? So this is nice. And then when you're ready, you just export it. And so that was the simplicity of the BX Master Desk. The next version up from the original Master Desk was the Master Desk True Peak. And it's pretty much the same box, except they added a True Peak limiter based on their famous True Peak limiter algorithm. So this is this guy over here, which added a nice little touch to this otherwise already great plugin. And nothing else has changed. So it's the same controls, the same options, same look, same size, everything. Now, with the Master Deck Pro, as you can see, they changed the color, they changed the look, looks more modern. Buttons are different. Also, it's twice in size, has more meters in the middle. And while the old ones still have more like an analog VU meter, now you have that digital looking meter. And it shows you your dynamic range here on this side. It also shows you your loops, your loudness, which I think is nice. And you can actually set your recommended loudness you look for. So they have different options. Streaming right now selected is -14. That's like Spotify and Apple, right around that range. If you go for broadcast, it goes down to -23. This is the standard. If you want it competitive, they would say -10 makes your mix louder. Loud -8. And if you're really loud, -6, which was actually the CD level back in the day, right? If you master for a CD, you would sit between -6 and -9. So, and you can also add your own number, right? Whatever you want to do, you can turn it off. But if you have it, let's say on streaming, -14, if I play my track, it's gonna compile the number, and right now I'm at -19, which means I can actually go a little higher in levels. So I will increase the volume here, number 1, to bring up my mix. I can pick a compressor. They have 2 versions, digital or analog, and they're different channels now. You can actually pick some presets. Let me activate this. So it's very subtle, and you're just gonna, take your pick, and you can decide what you want. And you can see now, your dynamic range, and they recommend be around -6 to -8, so you don't lose too much dynamics, but you're gonna, push your master to a nice level. And so you play back your track, you look at that. Same deal, you have a foundation knob, which also, like in the other original plugin, takes out the bass or adds the bass tremendously. So if you lack bass in your mix and you think I want a little more, increase this to here. If you have too much bass, take it out, or you can leave it alone and maybe add a little bass here on the tone boost, right? This is great. They also have a glue function, which is an analog distortion. It adds some overtones, harmonics to glue it together. Also, the clipper will take off your peaks without really, distorting them. So, which means you can, increase your overall loudness without, getting into distortion on your top transients, which is great. Turn this on and off here. The de-esser has a wider frequency sweep now. The old one pretty much was, one knob, and you didn't really know what they picked, right? You got to look in the manual, what's the frequency. But now on the new version, you can actually say, I want this in 10K, 11, wherever you want it, right? You can pick that. And then the amount of the de-esser. Also, the resonance filters have now different cues. So this one is a little sharper. This one is a little wider. So you can, again, solo. You can solo. You find a frequency you don't like that much, and you can decide, do I want it a little wider? Do I want the narrower? And then you can turn it on or off. The same, it goes with the highs, like some harsh 6K again. Again, the old one only had 2, right? This one had 3K and 6K. Now on the Master Desk Pro, you can actually go from 1K all the way to 20. So you can actually really dial in and find a nasty frequency you don't like. You want to attenuate it a little bit, and then you can select, how much, okay? So, which I like. This is great improvement. The equalizer, you can turn on or off. If you need a little more detail beside the tone, which is also broader, you can now really go in and pick something between 20K and 2K for the low. There's a 3-band equalizer, right? And also the Q, you can really fine tune all the way down to a shelf, right? Here's the shelf selected, which is great. Then we have a high pass and low pass filter. If you just want to roll off some low end, look at that. It goes all the way down to 5. Not even 20, like most speakers make possible. You can actually roll off some rumble in the 5K, 5K range, right? So actually, not 5K, my mistake, sorry. So look at that high pass, low pass filter. You can roll off frequencies all the way up to 40K, which most speakers, I guess, won't even play back. So now you can get rid of, maybe say, you know what, I don't need anything above 33K. You can turn this on and roll this off. And the same applies to the low end. Starts at 120. hertz and goes down, you know, your speaker might clock out at 10 or 12. If you have a subwoofer, yeah, you go lower, but this one goes all the way to 5. So you can roll off some stuff at 5. Maybe there's whatever, if there's something on your mix that might cause some issues, or you work, you know, for a large audio system, you know, and you can hear it, you can just, you know, roll off some of that, you know. So this will be, I think it's interesting to have that and get rid of some clutter down maybe 10. You can say after everything below 10, I don't need. Turn this on, right? There's the mid-side enhancement, of course, and it's similar to the original version, except now you can change the panning also. So if you look at the balance line, so my mix has a lot of elements on both sides, but I'm kind of centered. Occasionally right now, it's a little bit to the left, right? If I say, you know what, I want to fix that, let's go bring the pan over there. So I can see now I'm completely on the right side, right? And now I'm always left. So you can just maybe a tiny bit modify your panning if you notice, doing mixing, something shifted. But again, this is very, very subtle, and only if you need to. And of course, you have the mono maker now goes up to 300, which, as you can see, makes it way mono. The mid-range almost is now a mono, and also the stereo bus you can reduce. Now we are completely mono. Now we are getting really crazy stereo, and also the low end, which you don't want stereo. You want to keep the bass already more in the mono range, and usually I do this during mixing. I have my bass always more, you know, in the center. But if you notice something funky, here you go. You can use the mono maker on the low end and just dial in the frequency and make this, get it a little more together. And here's your limiter section, modern, classic, couple more options now, release time, you can control, and true peak button on and off. XL also is harmonics, which make your mix a little warmer. Yeah, I mean, I try the extremes, and I always encourage people to go to 100, see what happens. Whoa, you might say way too much. Nothing happens here, right? And find something in the middle you like if you want to use that function. Also, the THD adds harmonics. It's a little more subtle, so you need to really have good headphones to hear it. Especially on the higher transients, I could hear, you know, some changes here. You can pick also a great setting here. All right. So, and there's the auto solo button, which I like. So the moment you hit it and you start messing with you know, let's say the de-esser, it will turn on, and or the resonance filters, right? In the old plugin, you had to click the auto solo button, and now with the activated, if I play back the track, see, automatically it filters out that frequency, right? And I can. Same here on the equalizer is great. You can go right in and listen to the frequency you want to modify, right, and change. So this is actually very nice. So definitely a way to go. And of course we have the output trim, -1. I always leave it at -1 just in case if you do conversions later, send it to Spotify, Apple, and they convert it again for their platform. If it's at 0, sometimes things go wrong. Not all the time, but it could go wrong. So you can read about this online. A lot of people recommend -1 output. So you have a little headroom when you send it to other platforms, and they mess with your files, okay? So the only criticism I might have, it doesn't have a gain compare button or leveling button, because as you know, when you start working with all those parameters, you increase, you know, you bring up your mix, you make it louder. And of course, when you hit the bypass button, it's going to jump to a louder level and you think, wow, it sounds great already. But that's not really the case. You need to actually listen on the same level with your original. So Wavelab has, of course, the smart bypass, right? So when I play back, let's activate this again. When I play back my file and I update the gain, if I can switch forth and back, I only hear pretty much what I did, in enhancements, but the levels are the same, which is crucial to really hear what did happen, right? What's the compression doing? Because again, if it sounds louder, your brain thinks it sounds better, and that's not the case. I wish they would build this in. Ozone has it now in, as you know, the smart gain button. Some other plugins also include that. Here, not yet. So if your software doesn't have that, you have to look at your meters and really don't just hit the bypass button. Really, you gotta make sure it's on the same level when you compare your master to your original. And again, Wavelab has the smart bypass, which is great to switch around, right? But maybe in the future they get to that. So, but otherwise, it's a wonderful upgrade of the original Master Desk True Peak or Master Desk, plugin. And I think they're all great. Have them on your laptop when you travel. Take them with you. You can do a quick master in literally a minute. Again, this is just for improving your mix. You send it out to people, and it will sound different and better. That's what I think, And the learning curve is really, really, it's fast. You don't need to read books about this. Follow the instructions, have good earphones, headphones, or speakers, and just, use those knobs wisely. And just a tiny bit, and you're going to be happy with the output, and it's going to sound great. So I do recommend the Pro version because I own the other ones. I got this one super cheap, I guess, around $90. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. It's great stuff, and so I'm glad I bought it. And so I'm sure I'm going to use it in my workflow, when I don't want to go to my mastering chain here in Wavelab, which takes way longer. Of course, more bells and whistles, more details, but if you want quickly results that sound great, it's definitely good to go. So I think it's great for the price, and yeah, use those sales. Okay, so thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.